Beautiful day, unlimited sparkle. Today, I am so excited about telling you that you are empathy. And maybe you don't believe me because you've had an experience of not feeling empathy towards other people. And that's perfect because today, forget all about you know about empathy. I'm going to change it upside down for you. And I'm going to show you that empathy really is your natural state and it naturally comes out. It's really all about how you sharing your stories or how we share our stories that naturally the empathy comes out. And there's a lot of people who teach about empathy and NVC, nonviolent communication, and other people, books, videos, and they just don't talk about the other way around. Like, how do we speak? How do we share our stories so people can empathize with us? Because really, empathy is our natural state. So, I'm gonna start with a short story. I'm gonna tell you about my friend that lived in the mountains in Costa Rica. When I first moved to Costa Rica, I met her and I went to visit her in the mountains, and everything in her life seemed to be really going really badly. She was having one bad experience after another. Wherever she went, she was just meeting all these bad people. And she was such a lovely girl. She was one of the most beautiful people I've seen. She was very talented. She was a nutritionist, very intelligent, smart. However, she had no friends. I didn't know that at first, but she had no friends. And when I spent some time with her, basically that one day, she was telling me about all these things that was just going wrong in her life. And at some point, I just didn't know what to do anymore. And I asked her, "What do you want? What do you want from me?" And she told me, "Empathy. I just want empathy." And that really touched me because I recognized myself in her. And I realized that this was me before in my life when I tried to be listened to and I was exaggerating with my stories and I was playing victim because I wanted people to empathize. And nobody seemed to listen to me. Nobody seemed to really feel me. And it really clicked and I really saw why this is the way it was. So now changing the stories, and I want you to start changing your stories too, because this is one of the most powerful skills that you can do. Actually, recently I read an article about how we change our DNA. And maybe you know this already, that we change our DNA during our lives. Actually, when you compare identical twins, when they are 70 years old, their DNA is very different because that depends on their experiences. Actually, not so much about their different experiences. It actually depends on the stories they tell about their experiences. Actually, stories that we tell really matter. And today I'm gonna tell you 3 tips how to share your story so you can go out and practice with everyone, anywhere you go. Practice sharing your stories. Stop being the victim and stop being the person who is invisible like I was. And really, you have your powerful being, and I'm going to illustrate that. So those 3 tips that I want to share with you today about how to share our stories so people naturally empathize is share something that is really meaningful and personal to you. That's number 1. So before, I would be sharing things, I would exaggerate and I would try to impress because I would try to get people to empathize and to understand. But no, share something that's meaningful and personal. Second, talk about your feelings too. Just include some of your feelings, like authentic feelings, how it was really for you. Talk about your experience. And third, tell some details about those feelings. Because whenever you say those little details like how my heart was pumping or I felt butterflies in my stomach, people can't help but really having this image in their head and of what is going on. Actually, not so much in their head as much in their body. They can feel it, they can imagine it. And when you can tell stories from this perspective, from your perspective, without blaming other people and the whole world, what they're doing wrong to you, when you just speak about your experience and how you felt and tell details about it, magic happens because people will naturally empathize with you. They just cannot until they are psychopaths. But even that, let's not go there. So I'm going to tell you a different story now, a short story that happened to me about 3 months ago. And I'm gonna use these points that I've just illustrated so you get an idea, so you can go and really start practicing, because it's not so difficult, but really we forget all the time. We start just, especially when we are really emotional, we start almost like discharging ourselves because we so crave to be heard and understood and being seen and being empathized with. So 3 months ago, I was with my dog. She was still a puppy. She was about 5 months. And with my friend, who's really close. He's like a family friend. He's very close to my dog too. And we went to San Jose, which is the capital city of Costa Rica. And I just needed to fix my computer. And when we were there, I really wanted some miso soup before we came back. And so what do I do with my dog? Because she couldn't really go in the restaurant. So we decided to tie her up in front of the restaurant and just go quickly for a miso soup, which is really, really quick. So we went in the restaurant, had our miso soup. I did some emailing, left my computer there. And before we left, I just went to the bathroom and did my thing. And when I was coming downstairs from the bathroom back to the restaurant, I just saw the whole restaurant was suddenly empty. And I just saw my computer on the table. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe my friend just left my computer there and leaving without telling me anything. It was so irresponsible. So I was feeling really feeling frustrated and angry. And then I came outside of the restaurant and there were all these people, like the waitresses and even the chef. Everyone was outside. There were no customers anymore. I was like, this is so strange. But my Spanish is kind of limited. So I just said, thank you, gracias. And I was like, okay, let's find my dog. So she was tied like right there on the pole and she wasn't there. So I was thinking, I can't believe my friend took even my dog, like leaves my computer there, takes my dog and just disappears. So that was super irresponsible. And so I was looking for him and suddenly I saw him coming out of the shop next to the restaurant. And he was coming outside and I saw tears in his eyes. And he just told me, someone took Cashew. Someone took my dog. And in that moment, I just felt so sad. And literally my body felt so weak. I couldn't even stand up. And I was so scared that I will never see her again. So this is my short story to illustrate the points. And maybe you felt my sadness from this whole experience. It was a very short story, but I wanted to illustrate how to talk about my feelings and my experience as opposed to blaming the other people who stole my dog. How can someone steal my dog and my friend who just leaves her there and all these things? Like, no, I'm talking about my experience. And you can do this too. It will transform your whole reality. And before I go, I want to tell you that all is good. My dog, Cashew, is back. She was actually found after 10 days. So everything's good. And I really hope that you will start changing your stories, the way you speak to other people, so they can empathize with you. Is it empathize? Empathizing? Those of you who know me knows that I don't care about grammar. I care about authenticity. That's way more. They can't beat that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know what you think about this. Leave some comments. This is really some powerful stuff right here. It will really change your life once you start practicing this. So let me know how it goes and how far are you willing to go to live unbound.